Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm here to give you Love and Hip Hop Hollywood Season 3, Episode 7. Real quick, and then I'll do Episode 8. Ray J and Max, they're in their barbershop, and Ray J's talking about his scooty bikes and his brush, his new item, which I think that he needs a little help with the naming of these items and things, but I guess he's doing it on his own, so he's just giving it whatever names he wants. But and he talks a little bit about the wedding and the cake tasting, how he didn't come, and basically in this scene, Max tells Ray J that him and Brandi are all good. Moving right along, Tiara in the studio scene, she talks to some producer. I didn't catch the name, but it's somebody with fame, and he basically tells her, get your music together, and they'll forget about all your craziness in your past and stuff like that. And that's about all that scene was about. She's gonna take his advice and get in the studio, and I really wish she would before this chance of being on Love and Hip Hop passes her by, and she hasn't even been really in the studio or making music. But she can't sing, so she needs to try really hard, because I don't really feel like she's been trying with her whole music thing. Anyways, Lyrica and A1 scene. They're at their new house that they bought. They're moving into their new house, and they're talking about the housewarming party. And Lyrica suggests turning it into a surprise reception to tell everybody how they got eloped or whatever. So they're going to start planning that. Next thing, Nicky, Tiara, Chandra, they're all chilling. They start talking about, the Uber incident that happened with Tiara. And, she could have been in jail, or she's facing 30 days to 6 months because she's taking it to trial. I guess whatever happened with the Uber thing with Tiara, she felt like, she can beat this. Like, she felt unjust, so... anyways, moving on to the next scene, Rosa and Jason. I guess Rosa halfway feels bad because of how she had talked to Jason before when he actually knew what he was saying. So she wants to apologize to him. She's like working out or whatever. And she tells him that, she's done with Nicky, but she's still doing the pop-up shop or whatever. I guess they have money put in together. So she's still going to do that regardless of whatever the relationship is like. Next scene, A1 and Lyrica's house party scene. They're nervous about telling their moms about how they got eloped or whatever. So A1 steps up and tells them. And of course, Mama Lyrica, she's upset. She throws her glass down, just being the disrespectful bitch that she is. And but on the other hand, A1's mom, she shows love. She hugs them and everything. And side note, did y'all check out Mama Lyrica's shirt in the confessional when she was talking about how it was fucked up that they had eloped or whatever? Her titties were hanging. There was like a slit in the middle of her shirt. It looked hoochie, especially for her age. But anyways, at the end of this little scene or whatever, you could tell Lyrica was sad about everything that happened and how it happened. And I was thinking, I was feeling a little sorry for her in the moment, but she'll be all right. Next scene with Ray J and Princess. They're in the car. She's upset, that he had missed the cake tasting. He has the nerve to say something like, well, how did it taste? I was like, you big fucking dummy. That was so insensitive, whatever. I could see why she's pissed off. Anyways, they pull up to the scooty bike billboard or whatever, and she doesn't act impressed. It's obviously not the reaction, that he wanted. But he still wanted to pick in front of his billboard. And if I recall right, he pulled a scooty bike out the trunk to take a picture. He wanted a picture of himself on it in front of the billboard. But Princess, she acted like she was over it. So she like pulls off while he's left there on the scooty bike or whatever. And I was thinking, she went right back around and picked him up. But anyways, next scene with Brandi and Max. They're at her son's birthday party. Max hadn't made it yet at the beginning of the scene, and so she was making it seem as if maybe he wasn't gonna come. But of course, he shows up, and Brandi says, she knows she messed up. She misses him. The son misses him, and so he tells her he's coming home. That was a nice enough scene. Good birthday party. He was there for his son. I was fine with that scene. Next scene, Nicky and Rosa at the pop-up party. Tiara and Nia were there. They would start talking to Nicky about the whole safari situation. Here come Rosa and Carter, her little date or whatever, the stud lady or whatever. And she looked age appropriate to Rosa, by the way. But anyways, Rosa's outfit, she literally had her ass out. I was like, am I the only one like a little shocked here? I mean, that outfit was a lot. But anyway, Nikki, she tries to kind of flirt with Rosa's date. And Nikki and Rosa go back and forth, and Nikki, her whole point about whatever happened between them is that they weren't together, which is true. But Nikki knows she's a bold-faced lie, and Rosa wanted an apology, but I don't think she got one. I don't remember that scene, but I don't think she got one. But anyways, we have a little short scene, and it was very short. Tiara's house, she gets her mail together, and she starts reading it. And she has court coming up, and she just tells us how she plans on going back to the studio. That's all that scene was about. Which I wish that she would have left all this court thing out of her storyline, but since I guess she doesn't have one, and plus a lot of people had already knew from the blogs or whatever. This is gonna be part of her storyline or whatever. Moving on to the next scene, the Ray J and Scooty Bike store scene. Soldier Boy and Nia there. Nia tells Ray J, Princess wants help with the wedding, and then here comes Princess, and she says, since he doesn't want to help plan the wedding, then they could just go ahead and get married now. And so she has this officiant with her, and he's like, hold up, no. Then he gets on board, just like she had wanted him to, and says, he's gonna help. But the part about this scene to me was like she was trying to get one over on Mama Norwood or whatever, because if he would have just went ahead and married her right there on the spot, I don't think there would have been a prenup. So I think that she was halfway, maybe hoping that he would go ahead and do that. But anyways, I believe this is the last scene. Lyrica, and A1 Lyrica and A1's house. Mama Lyrica goes to get her dogs, and I'm thinking, why are her dogs there? And I'm thinking that she must live kind of close to them or something, because it looked like she was walking over there, and she looked like a hot mess, like she had just been exercising, walking, jogging, or something like that. She blames everything on A1, that her daughter would have made these decisions, like eloping and all that stuff, by herself, and she should have been included in the wedding. She calls it a $2 wedding, the way they eloped or whatever. She tells us Lyrica's her only child. There's no going back. There's no, changing what happened. He tries to give her a picture. She slams it down on the ground, and she storms out. And then A1, he calls the dogs. I'm like, why didn't he give her dogs? As soon as she left, I guess, he had been hiding the dogs or whatever, so he calls them, to take them on a walk or something. And I was thinking, why is he holding that lady's dogs up? To me, that's kind of shady. Even though I know, Mama Lyrica, she seemed real crazy and stuff. That shows shade on his part if he's keeping her own dogs away from her or whatever. But anyways, that was it for that episode. Now, moving on to the episode 8, season 3, Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. We open up with Ray J, Princess, and they're planning the wedding. He says he's ready to help. He's on board. He got a lot of people to invite. Princess list, is way smaller than his, and because how she keeps telling us she doesn't really talk to her dad. I'm sad about that for her. But, Ray J says he got her back. And I really, I keep saying, I hope he does. I hope he really does still have her back. Next thing we get with Fizz in the studio. Willie's there. Willie talks about his fucked up marriage. And Fizz says, he feels bad for his friend. That he's just been working. And Fizz gives Willie advice to do something special, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna do something special. I'm gonna do something special for Shonda, whatever. And I'm thinking, good luck. Next scene, Monique's rehearsal scene with Masika. I like the song, with the little snippet that they gave us. It sound, pretty cute. I couldn't find it nowhere on YouTube, so I don't know where I could find it, but I wanted to hear it for free, so I looked on YouTube, but I wasn't able to find it, so maybe it's not on here yet. But Masika, she tells Monique about the Brandi and Mak incident, about how Masika was in the studio with Max and Brandi busted in and all that drama. Monique says Max had a Becky, and that Becky had been inboxing her, Monique, and something about a story of that Brandi had ended up getting arrested. It was like some drama and all that stuff. So the Becky was giving her inside information or whatever. And so Monique says she wants to invite her to her listening party. Mystica, she actually makes sense. She's like, she's gonna fuck it up. And Monique says she don't care. She'll have more listening parties. I'm like, see, that's right. That's why people ain't gonna take you serious, because you're willing to fuck up your own event just for what? But anyways, move along. Princess and the wedding dress shopping scene. She's there with her friends, like two of her friends. She tries on a dress. She tears up. Ray J shows up. He got her grandma. It's a sweet little moment. They cry. She hasn't talked to her dad in over a year, she said, and before that it was 10 years. But the grandma says that the dad says that he plans on being there, and so I hope he's not bull crapping about that. But it seems like they should have some kind of rekindle the relationship before the wedding, so that it's not so awkward. But I don't know. I don't even know if he ended up being in the wedding like she wanted him to. But I guess I'll see when they have the wedding or whatever on the show. Moving on to the Nicky and Lyrica and Nicky's hairstylist scene. Side note: when Lyrica went to sit down, the hairstylist, he kind of touched Lyrica's hair, almost kind of like, oh, this ain't shit, this weave ain't shit. I thought that was like a little bit shady. But anyways, Lyrica asked what Nicky, what's been up and all that. And Nicky tells her about, Safari and everything that happened with, him and Rosa and all that stuff. And but she says, she misses Safari. This is when the hairstylist friend is like, oh, I've been meaning to tell you. Basically, he fucked, Safari had fucked somebody he knew or something like that. And so Nicky, she wants to sit down and talk to the girl. And I guess the hairstylist guy is gonna like put that into motion for her or whatever. And I'm thinking, why do you need to talk to this girl? But anyways, next scene, Willie and Shonda, he got rose petals and candles. Apparently it was in like their backyard or whatever, so it wasn't like the most romantic, but I guess he was trying. But Shonda, she wasn't having it. She says, he wouldn't have done none of that shit if he hadn't fucked up. And he's like, no. And I'm like, yeah, like, you're doing this only because you fucked up. That scene was short. She says they need to, work on their marriage, but not to like in the same house or whatever. So I guess that was her way of telling him that he needs to move out for a while or whatever. Moving on to the next scene, Brandi and Princess, they're having drinks. Princess tells Brandi, they're both invited to this listening party Monique is having or whatever, and she says that they should go, and I guess they have planned on going. Next scene, Ray J, taste testing. He said he doesn't drink no more, but he got his boys there, Safari, A1, and Soldier. Safari tells him about the drama, with Nicky and Rosa. And this is where I think Ray J was telling them about the whole, you should put a bud in your ear when you meet up with Nicky, and I'm gonna tell you what to say. And Safari's dumbass says, okay, that yeah, let's do that or whatever. Which it ends up being a pretty funny scene, but I'll talk about that. I think that's the last scene, I'm not sure. The next scene, Monique at her listening party. Masika's there. She's like, again, why do you want to fuck up your own listening party? Monique says, sometimes you gotta sacrifice. And I said, boy, that's the reason why I know for sure that Monique is nuts. But anyway, Princess and Brandi come in. Monique, she gets on the mic and she just starts telling a story about how the Brandi's Becky found her. Talking about the Becky found her or whatever. And Princess and Brandi, they start getting pissed. Like, you could tell that this shit that Monique is saying or whatever must be true or have some truth to it, because they're getting like really pissed or whatever. And Monique is laughing, and I want to say it was Princess that took her shoe off, and she attempted to like bum rush her, but she wasn't even able to get to Monique or whatever. But I was thinking, okay, they storm out, Brandi and Monique leave. Brandi and Princess leave, and Monique is still there with the mic, and I'm thinking, okay, did your showcase or whatever, your listening party, did it start from there, or like how did that end up going? Because they didn't show like her singing her song or whatever. So, but anyway, moving on to the next scene, Willie moving out. Side note, Moniece is so childish, and she gets like this satisfaction over the stupidest and like most irrelevant stuff. She shouldn't be worried about that. But anyways, moving on to the next thing. Willie moving out. He's fucked up about leaving. He's crying. He wants us to feel sorry for him. His boy Fizz picks him up. I actually have more respect for Fizz in this scene because, it seemed like he's being there for Willie, trying to be a good friend or whatever. But that was all that scene was, him leaving his home with his wife, whatever. Hopefully he can get his stuff together and they can work it out, but we'll see. Next scene, Safari, the setup scene. This is the funny scene. Safari sitting down, Ray J and Soulja Boy are outside in the car, and Ray J's feeding Safari his lines or whatever, and that shit is so funny to me. Ray J and Soulja Boy, they're stupid. They're so dumb and childish. You put two little boys together and you get like a real funny scene. Especially because Safari, he's like a little boy too, because he was willing to, like repeat everything that was being said to him, whatever. So Nicky sits down and he's like, you got me fucked up, and like he repeats it, of course, and she's like, excuse me, like, and almost like, if you're not gonna talk to me right, nigga, we ain't gonna talk. So Nicky tells him about the girl that he messed with. So she has her there on set or whatever. She walks up. Safari says, he don't know her. He's like, who the hell is this? And he's like, oh no, she's a fan. Like, he wouldn't touch her with a 20-foot pole. So he's like, bye, but like he tells the girl she looks outrageous. I think they like blurred her. I know they blurred her face, but I think they messed up her voice too, like, trying to disguise it or whatever, because some people were saying that they thought she was a trans or something, but I think it was the way they messed her voice, up purposely, so because she didn't want to be recognized or whatever. And to me, if you didn't want to be recognized on this show or whatever, you shouldn't have came on at all, because now we don't know if you know what you were. But makes me further not believe. I don't think Safari did that with her. He said, that she wasn't his type and stuff. And I thought that was so funny when he said she looked outrageous. And this whole scene when Soulja Boy was in the car with Ray J, and they showed this little, they flip back and forth from Safari with Nicky at the restaurant to them two idiots in the car, and they're just cracking up. That was so funny to me. And I usually can't stand both of them because they're childish and petty and all that, but that scene was funny enough to me. It was the funniest like scene of the whole season. But that's how it ends. And so that's my review for Love and Hip Hop episode 7 and 8, season 3, Hollywood. And I'll see y'all in the next one.